of the appeals court. The judge says that she's prepared to issue an order to expand on her definition of the word facilitate, and the Department of Justice is asking if they can stay that on an appeal. And the judge says, quote, "The Supreme Court has spoken. My order is clear. It's direct. There is, in my view, nothing to appeal." Scott Jennings, this is all, I mean, we've talked again a lot about the politics of fighting on these various issues and the way that the administration has, standing with Americans in terms of fighting illegal immigration and particularly criminal behavior in those instances. But they have also acknowledged this man was taken away, and now the president has floated the possibility that, quote unquote, homegrown criminals could be taken and deported. Where's the line for you?
Well, on this case of Garcia, I mean, they have a point of view, which is A, court cannot compel them on foreign affairs matters, and they think that's what they got out of the Supreme Court. And B, they just very calmly lay out the facts. It was an illegal alien who came here from El Salvador. They sent him back to his country of origin. They reject the idea that he never had due process because he, in fact, did go before immigration judges.
Well, those judges said he specifically couldn't go back to El Salvador.
Okay.
He could be deported elsewhere.
Because why? Because why? Because he said he was in danger from a gang that hasn't been present in El Salvador for the last 5 years. There's more of them in L.A. than there is in El Salvador.
All I'm saying is that's what the court said. They could have actually stripped that before they did this. They didn't do that.
But the point is this, and what Homan said is what they maintain. Okay, fine. We'll facilitate it, which means if he comes here, we'll facilitate that. And we'll facilitate it by arresting him, and one of two things will happen. We'll send him right back to El Salvador, where he came from, or some other much worse place. But there's no future where he, as an illegal immigrant with an existing deportation order, finishes out living a happy life in the United States. In their view, it's not going to happen. So the line here, they believe they're on the right side of immigration law, and they believe they're on the right side politically.
Isn't it quite a thing as well? I mean, just to keep going with you here on this a little bit, like, okay, maybe they send him to a quote-unquote worse place, but he's at risk of death in El Salvador, and he's in prison, right? Like, they deported him to a prison, and the court keeps asking for evidence that he committed. Perhaps he is a member of MS-13, but the government hasn't been able to show that yet, right? Every time the judge has asked for evidence, no one has been able to actually provide it. It's just kind of a lot of, So, again, when you take this to its logical conclusion, when the president is now saying, well, homegrown criminals, this idea that you're going to take people and just send them to a prison overseas?
Well, what he said yesterday was, we're looking into the legality of it. He said, we're looking into the laws. Pam Bondi's looking into it. So it was a non-definitive statement. But the point they're making, the political point they're making, is quite clear. If you are a violent person, if you've broken our immigration laws, we're here to keep Americans safe. And our opposition is apparently currently organizing congressional delegations to go to El Salvador to try to bring illegal aliens back to the United States. It's politically crazy.
Scott, he has not been criminally charged.
So?
What about due process? That is a
order.
Constitutional right that anyone in this country has.
If you want to die on this hill, be my guest. It's political malpractice to send Democrat members of Congress to El Salvador to retrieve illegal aliens.
It's his senator from his state. He's from the state of Maryland.
He's from El Salvador.
Just one second.
He lived in Maryland.
All right, just one second. Steve Laddick, jump in, please.
I mean, Scott keeps trying to make this a political conversation. I'd like to get back to the law here. And the law here is that he was removed to El Salvador in defiance of a court order that literally said he could not be removed to El Salvador. There was an existing legal process that the Trump administration could have followed to try to get that order wiped away. If they bring him back and Scott wants them to put him back into deportation proceedings, fine. There will then be another legal process where Mr. Abrego Garcia will have an opportunity to contest whether he is who the government says he is, as opposed to just taking the government's assertions at face value. I think we're losing sight of have due process in this country. Have due process so that we can be confident that when the government points at one of us, says you are a bad person, you should be removed, we can have faith that the government is correct. Without that due process, there's really nothing that separates someone like Mr. Abrego Garcia, really frankly, from any of us. And so whatever the politics, there's a rather fundamental legal principle that's getting neglected here.
He had due process. And the facts about his situation are really not in dispute. He is a citizen of El Salvador.
The
he
government
came to the United
that
States
his removal was based on an administrative error.
He's been living in the United States as an illegal immigrant.
Can you just respond to Steve's point? I mean, he's saying that the due process was violated in that he... Sorry, Steve, repeat yourself.
I mean, he was removed in violation of a specific judicial order that says he's entitled to withholding of removal to El Salvador. So the due process he received is due process that specifically said you can't send him to El Salvador. He was sent to El Salvador anyway.
The administration disputes whether that is a proper order, I guess, because they say the reason he got a withholding order is not valid. But even so, if you want to bring him back here and ask him what other country he wants to go to, fine. But they're not going to let him live in the United States as an illegal immigrant with a deportation order. They will not allow it. They're not going to bend on this. I don't see any way they bend on this.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break here.
One of those alternatives is with due process. One of those is with it. Sorry, Casey, just bringing him back and giving him a hearing is how the system's supposed to work. If the result of that hearing is he's removed to another country, fine. Letting President Trump just say, even though we weren't allowed to remove him to El Salvador, oh, well, them's the breaks, is not how our legal system is supposed to work, whatever the political costs.
All right, we got to press pause on this conversation, but I think we're just going to pick it right up after the break because there is so much to be said. Again, these are live pictures of this ongoing hearing about this Maryland man that the administration acknowledges was mistakenly deported.